Crossroads families, it's summer. And that means we're doing something called Pop-Up Sunday School. Now, what is Pop-Up Sunday School? Well, since we aren't back in the church building yet this summer, we're going to take the opportunity to run some Sunday School at Gateway School in the parks. So there's going to be some Sundays scheduled throughout the summer where we're going to come and we're going to follow the regulations of our government, but we're still going to sing and we're going to tell Bible stories and maybe do some activities as families and just have a great old time. So we'd love for you to check them out. What we're going to talk about at these Sunday school times is something called the 10 Commandments. Now all summer long, the rest of our church is going to be talking about the 10 Commandments too. So we're just going to follow along in the same order. But before we get to talking about the 10 Commandments, kids, I wonder if you even know what the word commandment means. What is a commandment? Some of you out there are pretty smart because I heard somebody say rules. Commandments are rules. Now, did you know that the 10 Commandments were God's gift to the people of Israel? Now, that seems kind of strange. How are rules a gift? I know some of you have birthdays coming up this summer. How many of you, for your birthday, are asking for a whole bunch of rules? Anybody? Is anyone asking for rules? No, of course you aren't. That would be crazy. Because most of the time, we think of rules as being, not very much fun. What are some of the rules at your house? Some of the rules at our house are things like no candy before bed, or you can only watch a little tiny bit of TV and only after all your work is done. Or things like you have to brush your teeth so your teeth don't rot. Those are rules. And none of them seem like very much fun to me because I like candy and I don't really like brushing my teeth. Why would God give rules as a gift? It doesn't really seem to make sense. And you know what? I have a story I want to tell you about a rule that I didn't really want to follow because I didn't think it was very much fun and I didn't think it made sense. One day, it was a really hot summer day, and I was going to go rafting down the river. Have any of you ever floated down the river with your family? Who knows, maybe you'll do it this summer. I was going to go rafting with some friends. But the rule of rafting says you have to wear a life jacket. You have to wear a life jacket. Now, I don't know if you've ever worn a life jacket. This isn't really a life jacket. It's kind of a weird floaty thing, but it works for the illustration. So I got my life jacket and I went to put it on and well, it didn't seem like very much fun. Plus, I was a good swimmer. I didn't think, oh man, I don't need this. So I said, forget that. I'm not following that rule. That rule, I don't need it. And my friends did the same thing. And you know what? We set off on our rafting trip and it was so fun and so awesome. And I thought, who needs a life jacket? Until our raft broke. And now we were swimming down a raging river. And you know what else? It got dark and we couldn't get to shore. And my one friend, turns out he wasn't a very good swimmer and he almost drowned. And to make a long story short, we ended up having to get rescued by a helicopter and it was a whole crazy thing. We spent the night outside in the middle of nowhere, freezing cold. It was terrible. And I've never forgot that day because I thought the rule wasn't fun. But really, the rule was to keep me safe. It was to give me an opportunity to have fun on the raft, safe fun. And you know what? When you think about the 10 Commandments, I want you to think about a life jacket. It's not to keep us, boring or not to let us have fun. It's to let us have joy. God's rules bring us joy. I want you to say that with me. God's rules bring us joy. They do. There's a verse in Psalm 19 that I want to read for you. It says this, Psalm 19 verse 8. It says, the commands of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. Now, sometimes there are rules out there in our world that seem silly and don't always make sense. But God's rules bring joy. God's rules always make sense. So this summer, as we go through the 10 Commandments, we want you to learn them with us. Maybe at home you can look them up. They're found in Exodus chapter 20. And maybe you with your mom or your dad or an older sibling can learn these 10 commandments because God's rules bring us joy. Now, we look so forward to seeing you at Pop-Up Sunday School this summer. So check out the dates and we hope you'll sign up.